Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Marvel Collector's Special, Jim Rugg, Hulk Grand Design, and probably one of the most dramatic Hulk covers ever. Probably Jim Steranko's Hulk cover, of course, probably one of the classics, but this one is, wow, really in your face. This is point of view, really crunched up. You really can see the anger there. And you've got Jim Rugg, Hulk Grand Design, great back cover, and it says there, cartoonist Kayfabe. I think that's one of the best video channels. I love that on YouTube. Just, it's a curse to go on it because quite often I go on it and end up buying yet more books after watching their brilliant, wonderful discussion of a book or two. And look at that, really dramatic Hulk there. You wouldn't want to face him on a dark night or any kind of night. Slight disappointment with this bit. All those great covers, and it's covered up with Jim Rugg, Hulk Grand Design. Maybe they could have put that on another page, but still, you can still see the Hulk, of course, the original issues, as well as Tales to Astonish and many others, all the way up to about issue 213. Of course, you've got there the original issue, obviously in grey, and you've got a sweatshirt. I never got that. I always looked at those sweatshirts thinking, I want a sweatshirt like that. That would have been brilliant. Still. And then you've got Jim Rugg, Hulk Grand Design Monster. 120 pages, trying, and I think fairly successfully, to get the entire life of the Hulk into a single book. Now, obviously, there's going to be stories missing. There were a few stories I think, oh, why didn't they mention that? Why didn't he mention this and that? Well, obviously, you can't mention every single story. Even though they're my favourites, doesn't mean that they're obviously everyone else's favourites. But still. Of course, you've got the classic start point here. Now, it's actually, the start point, I suppose, was on the previous page, but goes back slightly as well. It's slightly confusing in that respect. But then you've got there Betty and, of course, the Hulk, and we, of course, see him in grey at that point. Monster as he goes off. And you got there, this is the first story, Hulk issue 1. And of course you've got all the, now it only lasted 6 issues, the first Hulk one. Actually, that's one of the ones I don't think actually gets a mention. Poor old Metal Master, I think it was his name, Metal Master, Metal Monster, Metal Master or something like that, by Steve Ditko. I love that issue. But that doesn't get a mention. Of course, Ringmaster, Tyrannus, Rex, all those ones, they're not. But you've got, of course, a fairly good, you see the Hulk there being zapped. Actually, is there one scene with, not really. One of my favourite things was always when they would be bashing against the stone wall or concrete wall, whatever, he couldn't get out. I always thought, how did he rebuild that all the time? Was there some, maybe he had a sort of team of people that come in afterwards and sort of pick it up. However, of course, we had the Fantastic Four issue 12, that classic one where he first, now of course the Hulk at that point had lost his comic, so you end up, got Fantastic Four and of course the Avengers, and you've got the Space Phantom there, and of course, he ends up leaving the Avengers very quickly. I always thought that was a bit of a mistake. Maybe there was a reason, because of course Captain America came along a little bit later. Maybe they felt, well, they can't really have all these characters in the story. Maybe it was just too over the top strength. You got the Hulk, you got Thor, Iron Man, Giant Man, and so on and so on. Maybe if it's remained as Ant-Man at that point, maybe they could have kept the Hulk, I suppose. But still, great story. Of course, you got the leader. And I love that leader story. One of my favourite leader stories, the ones where the knowledge of thousands of civilizations, and of course he puts that on the Ultimate Machine, I think it was called. Yes, the Ultimate Machine. And really, why don't you just go for the Cosmic Cube or something? The Infinity Gauntlet? No, I'm going to go for the Ultimate Machine. Millions of planets, billions of years. Oh, wasn't a good idea. Even his brain can, and then obviously he saw something. We never actually saw what that was. Strange. Maybe it just showed his death or something. I don't know. It's just weird. Because the thing is, I love this book for one major reason. It's like all the characters, how many times they die, they get reborn, die, reborn, die, what's his name, and so on and so on. It just literally, Rick Jones gets killed, then he comes back again, or whatever. Talbot gets killed, comes back. Ross gets killed, comes back. So many times. I mean, times like the Hulk, Betty, whatever, or the Hulk's going to be Banner forever, and then suddenly, mysteriously, he loses that ability again. So it was relentless. Not much about Jarella, a little bit. That's one of my favourite stories. I love the Jarella story. Of course, Harlan Ellison, that period, just brilliant. And of course, the Valkyrie story. I don't think the Valkyrie story gets mentioned here. Of course, Doctor Doom there. Day of the Defenders. I love the fact they use those adverts. The Day of the Defenders is here. Marvel feature issue 1. But you've got Jarella there. Hulk briefly reunites with his love, Jarella. But poor old. I always felt sorry for. I really wish they had done more with Terrell as a character. It just seemed such a pity. You sort of. I always think like the power of the atom, sword of the atom, or whatever it was. Just sort of that sort of storyline. They could have done a lot more with that, but they didn't. It was a great possibility. They could have run it for quite a few months of that, especially when you had like Doctor Strange, where you had a story with Dormammu for about 18 or 20 months. They could have done the same with the Hulk. Much longer sequence of stories. I love that one. The Hulk and now the Wolverine. Of course, everyone's favourite Grail comic. I haven't got a copy of that. Unfortunately, at that time we had problems with distribution. I don't think the Wolverine story was actually here at that point. Well, it probably was in Dark They Were and Golden Eye. Rampaging Hulk. Oh, of course, yeah. I don't want to say too much about this comic because it tells you the entire story. So literally there's all the things you think, oh, I didn't realise that. And I haven't read every single Hulk story because there's millions of them. Absolutely millions of Hulk stories. Probably for me, Hulk, Herb Trimpe, that sort of period, Sal Buscema. There was a whole run of comics all the way through to about the 80s. I was reading 90s, whatever. After that, not so familiar with all the stories. Some, but not so many. More piecemeal at that point. I love the fact that Central Cities mentioned. In fact, Central Cities gets a mention in here, which is quite good. Also, Rocky Raccoon gets a mention as well. I love the use of black and white as well. There's quite a few, you've got sequences of black and white, which is really, I mean, the quality artwork is absolutely great. But it's just nice to just see that sort of comic book strip there, newspaper strip. And also you've got the comic books as well, so you get to see a little comic book there, which I think is just nice. And MODOK, and I love this one here. Hail Miss MODOK. So she gets it. All the villains you can imagine get it, other than Valkyrie. Weirdly, not certain why she was left. Maybe she isn't here. I didn't see her. I stand to be corrected on that one. But you got some just brilliant, brilliant bits. Now, I guess because this was brought out in, obviously, serialised, so you had, obviously, I don't know where issue 1, issue 2, so you got this bit here, Hulk again. It says, writer, penciler, inker, colourist, the whole lot. He did everything. I don't think he made the paper. That would have been pretty impressive as well. Or the binding. All those things. But still, just brilliant. And you got here, the Hulk rages on. Bruce Banner is gone. Bruce Banner is back. Bruce Banner is part of the Hulk. Is not. I'm surprised they've never done a story where the Hulk is someone else as well. Sort of suddenly make a alternate universe one where Hulk is another character and so on. Sort of develop all loads of possible ideas around this Hulk character. It doesn't always have to be Bruce Banner. And also why they've never, and maybe they have, and it's not shown here, but Bruce Banner stories where they would have like Bruce Banner's childhood. So you have a story finding out why has he got that rage, all those anger issues, all that sort of thing. Maybe they did do that story. I don't know. But still, I think it's great. I love the bit here, merges them together. Here, the Vision one. I don't remember that story. The new Hulk. Oh, there's a new Hulk here. What Hulk is this one? Because, of course, again, Bruce Banner, Hulk, they will never be the same again for about a week or two. The new Hulk. So you've got the new, that's Rick Jones. So you've got Rick Jones becomes the Hulk. I suppose he was Captain Marvel for it, obviously in alternating, and obviously with Captain America. I think he was with Squirrel Girl, probably not. Who knows? It's quite, he seems to have got everywhere, Rick Jones. At least he was slightly better than Snapper Carr, I suppose. However, this is pretty brutal. You've got here, you've got splitting, well, the Absorbing Man. I never read that one. Mobsters, cyborgs. That was Mr. Fix-It storyline. That was very odd ones. I remember picking up quite a few of those. I was not particularly enamoured by that. I didn't really like that period. Just not really into that sort of Las Vegas sort of scene. So it just didn't do much for me. Over the Edge, Punisher kills Nick Fury. Again, another twist with Nick Fury. How many times has Nick Fury been? Oh, well, you can guess. But still, more rage and anger. And really, that's covered really well in here. It's a bit like the Red Room book. I don't know if you ever looked at Red Room. It's the most really extreme comics of all time. And also some of the, but again, they're all gone over in Kayfabe. That channel is just amazing. Really recommend that channel. But there's so many great stories here. I love the Leader. I never realised that the Leader, there was another one. I think this one, what's his name? Omnibus. Don't ask me. Was his name the Leader? The Leader's successor, Omnibus, apparently. I wonder if he collected Omnibus collections. Maybe Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. Probably. He looks basically like the leader again, but he's still. And of course, you've got Talbot again, probably. I thought he was dead. Oh, no, that was next week. And then you've got Maestro. And you've got, of course, and I love the fact the way the twist in the story. I don't want to spoil the stories because read them. It's the best thing. And of course, you've got here, of course, Doctor Doom, and then Doctor Doom turns up quite, again, lots of very angry, dramatic scenes there. Look at that. Oh, really, really dramatic. Heroes Return. I didn't read that. I've got one book, I think one of the sort of complete collections, epics or whatever it was, and it's fine. Still, it wasn't one that I read all the way through. So it's, but there's also Apocalypse. So many characters I didn't realise were in the Hulk stories. But I Am the Future, that's of course the Maestro. Was it Maestro? He was the Maestro, wasn't it? I love that twist at the end, that was good. Gamma, and it also includes lots of letter pages from people over the years, which I think is just a lovely touch. Absolutely great. And again, more covers. And then you got here, when I was 6 years old, the Hulk was my hero. I don't think the Hulk was my hero, I must admit. I always loved the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was my favourite, but I guess everyone had their favourites. The Hulk, obviously, clearly this one. And you've got here notes and credits. You've got here about issue 2, issue 3. I always love that touch. I think it's always good to have. And I wish there was actually more because it's like one page. And I think it really could have done with, 5 or 10 pages, especially since some of the pages in here, there's a few pages I think, oh, you know what, they could have probably removed. And I would have preferred a lot more notes, like the annotation one for the Marvels. Those sort of ones where it gives you a lot of details. You say, oh, I didn't realise that. You just didn't notice it. And of course, it's one of those, maybe they'll bring one out. Maybe it's not for everyone. But Marvel Feature Presents The Defenders 1. Was it Marvel Feature Presents? I never realised that. Still, Daredevil 163, classic. Love that, Frank Miller. Dale Kewen, don't know who says his name. Richard Corbin, Banner 4. This is it, True Believer. And also, I love these bits where he shows all the different drawings, the artists. I remember that. I was in Foom. Don't foom until you see the whites of their eyes, apparently. Also, that one, Marvel Masterworks, that Incredible Hulk. That's just a classic. The Many Faces of the Hulk as well. Just brilliant. Obviously, all the different artists. And then you've got sort of not Brand Ek one. Now, I don't know if this was reprinted or if this is just made up sort of for this. I have no idea. So maybe someone could put in the comments if this is a not Brand Ek kind of story, if they brought that out. And an annual or something, I suppose. But again, you've got more covers. And you've got this one, of course, the classic, brilliant Incredible Hulk by Stan Lee. Love that. Also, the Fantastic Four, number 25. Oh, brilliant one. That one, classic. Now, these ones are clearly not drawn by Jim Rugg, I assume, unless he's done them exactly looking like the originals. But still, I think this is just a great book. But there's a few, like I say, of those covers that I would perhaps not included. More annotations would have been nice for me. But this one here, I can't even read that one. Marvel comic. Banner. Oh, there's a comic obviously called Banner. Oh, okay. Also, Rampaging Hulk. I'd love to see that collection in omnibus. And this one, I love all the artists. Lots and lots, and obviously letters and writers, etc. All the people involved with the Hulk. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful book. Read more comics, as he says there. They always say that at the end. Kayfabe's channel. I think that's just absolutely... Yes, definitely read more comics. I'm not going to use that phrase. But still, I think I definitely agree with that sentiment, definitely. But this is just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful book. Really recommend this. If you're a Hulk fan, this is a must-have. Well, any Hulk fan. But if you're a fan of any of the Marvel main characters, I think this one is a great one to get. And I hope they bring out some more. I mean, you could imagine, obviously, an X-Men... Oh, no, they've done that one. The Fantastic Four... Oh, they've done that one. Maybe Iron Man... Well, obviously, it depends on if obviously people really love it. Because that's the key thing. This is a labour of love. So you might have an artist comes to it. If someone else did it, would it work? You have to have someone that really, truly loves it to the ultimate, I think. So Spider-Man one, that would be an interesting grand design. Squirrel Girl, grand design. Millie the Model, grand design. Those sort of things. That would be brilliant. Well, for me, Linda Carter, grand design. That would be one. Probably be a very thin book, unfortunately. But still, Jim Rugg, Hulk, grand design, an absolute brilliant, brilliant book. I love this. Really great. And I think it just brings, oh, that's one thing I didn't mention, this. I just love the way they've done that with all the different, the lettering all across, obviously all the banners and things, blood, and obviously at the end as well, at the end they always include the blood of monster, Doc Salmon, Samson, could have been Salmon, Samson even, all Hulk breaks loose, when the monster awakes, Atlantis, Hulk in nude, and those sort of things, just absolutely classic ones, they often did that, the Living Lightning, not one of the best characters, but still, Hulk in nude. I think they used Hulk in nude quite a few times. There must have been other ones they could have gone with, but still, yes, 4 or 5 I can just see on this page. But they're great. I love the fonts, the way they've been done. Some are thin, obviously some, oh, you got the sort of glob-like character there. Oh, probably the leader one. Nothing on earth can stop me, it says there. Still, love it. Absolutely brilliant book. Really worth checking out. Jim Rugg's Hulk Grand Design Treasury Edition. It's just come out, so you should be able to pick up copies reasonably easily. So, classic. Absolute classic.